global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello and welcome back to our channel. The 5 consolidated case in Supreme Court was heard today. Of course, it has not been concluded, but for today's hearing, it is over, pending on when it continues. But right now, the lawyers, particularly the one defending Martins Amaewhule and the 25 lawmakers, have decided to give his version of the view of how it all ended or how it all fared in the courtroom. And this is what he has to say. Let's listen to him. Of course, some legal practitioners are beginning to go for or against. The verdicts, remember, have not been passed on yet by the Supreme Court, but this is their standpoint. Let's listen to him.
The appeal by the governor of Rivers State was dismissed by the Supreme Court this morning following the notice of withdrawal by the governor of the appeal he filed. Consequently, the decisions of the Court of Appeal and that of the Federal High Court, presided over by Honorable Justice Omotosho J., affirming that the Rivers State House of Assembly, led by Honorable Martins Amaewhule and the other 26 members of the House of Assembly, are the authentic members of that House of Assembly and remain so, and that Martins Amaewhule is the leader, that is the Speaker of the House of Assembly. So that is the position today. And I must add that the Court of Appeal had admonished and clearly stated that the House, purportedly being led by a 3-man panel, is not.
All right, welcome back. My colleague is in the house. There seems to be a lot of gloomy, no one really is certain, despite the fact that the lawyer of Martins Amaewhule seemed to be saying some certain things that should please the ears of Martins Amaewhule and the 26 lawmakers that defected. But they are there's uncertainty in the air. What's your take, judging the fact that the last judgment could possibly be the relying judgment? Don't forget there's still some outstanding cases still in Supreme Court.
All right. Now, first of all, it's important for us to establish some facts. Number one is this case we're talking about, which is considered to be a victory for Martins Amaewhule, that's for ProWike lawmaker, borders on re-representation of the budget. It has nothing to do with defection. If you go through all the details, has nothing to do with their defection. Now, the issue of the defection is building up from the State High Court and is coming gradually like a tsunami. So that's why during the press statement, if you notice it, Amaewhule did not really say anything about, he was expressing a lot of fears, uncertainty that Fubara may likely not obey the Supreme Court order based on the fact that, there are a lot of things that may be used to play it down. You understand? So the situation is very dicey right now. Nobody can really say this is our position and all of that. We are sure we have gotten all the required victory as it should be, because the most important part of this particular case is their defection. Now, for the issue of local government, which is yet to be settled, I think maybe we are yet to hear if they have shifted the case to tomorrow. But then one of the things I can't preempt it, but from data here and there, from infos here and there, I think the issue of the local government may go in favor of Fubara. I don't know yet, but I'm not predicting it. But based on what we've seen in previous this thing, and I feel it should. But then the power rests with the Supreme Court to do that, and other cases. But as much as the Supreme Court has the whole right to take a position on this, they also do take into consideration the state, the situation in the state. The law is not just that hard that they can't consider anything, because especially on the issue of saying central bank don't release money and all of, they know the chaos that can take place in Rivers State, which is not for the good of Nigerians. We can't be trying to, as much as we are talking about the law and all of that, but we must be careful not to do something that will truncate the peace of the country, because democracy is all about the people. As much as we have to do everything in sync with the law, but it's more about the people. Yes. So all of that put together makes everybody just to stand by and be watching. But as much as I can't preempt the next move of Fubara, but I'm still wondering if they will kickstart and start controlling things, because the real thing here is what they're really praying for is to have an opportunity to start controlling things, start saying local government, all the commissioners, we cancel the appointment and all of that. That is their great expectation. They really, really want to see that happen. They want to run the state, but I don't know if Supreme Court will everything will go in their favor. That's just my position.
But let's not forget that the Supreme Court have not given their verdict yet.
Yes, they have not.
They've not given their verdict yet. It's just a case of the lawyer of Martins Amaewhule giving the standpoint based on, the hearing thus far. Mm-hmm. Now, but wildest dream. Let's assume they said, okay, while the Fubara's case about the defection of Martins Amaewhule, that's Okojombo filed. I think it was Okojombo that filed that case, a newly filed case. While it's still building up, like you said, like a tsunami. In the meantime, are we to obey the Supreme Court's verdict? And if we are, quote unquote, if Fubara is to obey the Supreme Court government, all Martins Amaewhule team needs 48 hours is too much. 48 hours is too much. They will do marathon plenary. 24 hours is all they need. Please don't give them more than 24 hours. They will do more than enough in 24 hours. They will reverse everything, starting from that election to all the commissioners.
Now, the case of the election.
What's your take, really?
The case of the election is before the Supreme Court, and we're waiting to hear what the outcome will be.
What about the commissioners?
The commissioners and all of that.
All those Pepe, all the Asabuja, all the Puri Papa, all of them.
Now, the interesting part of this is, number one, we have to establish one truth, that when you defect from a party,
you have lost
it is self-executory based on the provision of the Constitution. Okay. And thank God someone stood up and announced that these guys have defected. And for that reason, 3 of us are the only people left, and we are going to start running the show on the basis of, 3 of us. So the issue of Amaewhule and all of that, it's self-executory, but I think right now what the Okojombo is trying to do is to establish it by law. But I believe, being that it's self-executory, it shouldn't be something we go to court for it. But I think he wants to establish, based on this long list of cases that are already there, why they must not invalidate this, because they have defected, and for that defection, everything should be null and void. So that's the situation on ground. So I don't know how it's going to be handled, but however, as much as the Supreme Court will take their stand, the Constitution is bigger than all of us. Okay. We must establish that truth.
Okay, don't you think that's why Martins Amaewhule is actually scared? Is actually having this fear in his countenance, being that particular part of the Constitution is self-executory. Mm-hmm. If they said present it, but you have defected.
You have defected. So who do I present it to?
So if the Supreme Court says, okay, based on this, you are the right. If because they've not given that verdict yet, if they say, okay, you are the right person, and they try to go, and the Constitution raises his head, you have defected.
You have defected. That is it.
I think that's
the situation, and that is why you are seeing a lot of people stammering. Even if they do this thing, but they have defected now. So that issue of defection must be settled first and foremost. And that's why I think Okojombo is taking his time to roll it out, so that at the end of the day, we will start that process again, running it till, I pray that it will be true this year, because that shifting will start, and before we know, we are in 2026, and everybody is preparing, for a new year.
But this is just me now personally. What if you ask Martins Amaewhule them? They should just get prepared. See,
how about their salaries now?
Oh my goodness! Because if not, this is 2025, and we are just 2026 is going to be campaign year. We all know that the 2027 will be the election proper. Why don't you go and acclimatize and befriend your constituency so they can bring you back?
Now, the future of their political career is dependent on all these cases, because the truth is they want to stamp the authority of Wike as the leader of politics in Rivers back, and that can only be done by ensuring that they weaken Fubara's political strength using everything. Don't forget that Fubara has already been able has a structure, a very powerful structure at the local government level. Now he has a very powerful structure at different level. So what the intention here is for them to, we can't go be preparing for 2027 because already everything we have has been kind of scattered. So we want a situation whereby when we go to the local government, our people are there. So number one thing is that the guy who is the chairman of RISEC will be kicked out. They have the power. They're going to kick out that guy, bring in someone who will know how to do everything at the we know how Nigerian politics is. It's not something that is new to us. They manipulate it so that at the end of the day, at the local government level, what we will see there will be strictly, even if we cannot totally get control of it, at least we are so sure that half of it is controlled by us. But then they want to do their part, because I know that already at the party level, the whole thing is shattered already at the party level. So it's going to be a long walk. But however, the reason why they cannot let go of this is to establish back that structure so that they can have a face politically. Because without somebody being around to remote control things for them, there's no way it can work. All what it takes is for Wike to be out of the way, and those guys will be invalidated politically. They have to really struggle it out, because even at their own local government, imagine, for example, someone like Martins Amaewhule is in Obiokpo local government area. And who is in charge in Obiokpo local government area? We are not talking about an ordinary chairman of a local government, but we are talking about a very aggressive guy who is doing everything to congratulate on similar Fubara structure, and who will be ready to take on all of them. So they already have this idea. Until these kind of guys have been kicked out, man, we are going to lose our strength. So that's why you see everybody just just let us be enthroned so that we can correct everything. But however, it's in the hands of Supreme Court.
All right, that's good. To wrap it up, we could go on and on. Let's meet in